Summit is finally being played in professional play, but it looks a little rocky. So China have started stage 2, as a matter of fact, yesterday, and the comps that they're busting out on this map aren't really... listen, I mean, this happens with every time a new map comes out, right? The first teams that play them, they try something new, something wacky, and it never really ends up being like the meta on that map. But this is what teams, I guess, thought would be good. Fun plus Phoenix and Trace Esports played Summer for the first time, and this is what they bust out. Teo, I don't think would be my solo initiator in this map, but I guess paired with Ogawele, maybe it could be good. My only suggestion for this comp is, besides replacing the Teo, would be to maybe replace the second duelist with like a Viper. I definitely think Viper is just too good not to have on this map. But as you're seeing this game, I guess FPX thought otherwise. And then Trace Esports, their comp is pretty standard. I think this is close to what you'll see. Maybe you'll replace the Omen with an Astra, and maybe the Jet with like a Neon, right? But besides that, I think this is probably going to be your bread and butter comp on this map. But I'm going to go ahead and take us into that game and break down most of the first half, a little bit into the second, and kind of show you what teams are thinking about, or how teams are thinking about approaching this new map. So we're going to start with Pistol Round, and FPX are in a, I think, pretty bad 1-2-2 setup. The reason why I think this is bad is because if you watch my tier list, you would know that I think that A side is almost impossible to hold, and with it being so claustrophobic, it is really hard to hold. Now, what that means though is on A, this is going to be like more like your fight and get out map, and not so much your anchor side. But B instead is going to be like your anchor, try to buy time for rotates, smoke mid-sight, try to hold out from back here, right? But on A, I feel like you have to fight up into A main if you actually want to defend and I guess stall on this side of the map. And you're going to see that Trace Esports are just going to run over the defense, especially with their Viper Wall, right? This Viper Wall is awesome as it cuts off A main. It allows the attackers to walk up completely, uncontested, walk past this one way that teams love throwing, and eventually make it onto the A side if nobody's playing on this side of the wall. And I'm going to go ahead and play the round, and you'll see the offense. They walk up. There's the Prowler. We see Cypher and Teo in the back. They are completely just out of the play because of this Viper Wall. You'll see Jet dashes out. They segment their fights. First, they took A main. Now they fight Courtyard. And it took less than 20 seconds, and the defense completely got obliterated on A. Like I said, I don't think you can hold A. Cypher just got deleted, and these two tried flooding in, I guess, a little too late. And I know they had like a main smoke, but to flood in on such a wide open part of the map, I mean, this part of the map almost reminds me kind of like I guess Old Breeze, with how like open mid used to be. And I don't think you would like flood in onto mid very easily, right? Especially because you'd be exposed to so many long sidelines, or I don't know. I just don't think this is a good idea, right? I think you have to fight up on main, or you kind of have to just play back and play the retake. I think that FPX tried to play like a middle, like a in between, somewhere in between that. And they ended up getting duked on for it. So immediately, I don't think that's how you're going to want to play A on defense. So another talking point about this map is how important mid is to the defense, right? It completely shortens your rotation time in between sites, and without it, you're not going to be able to help your teammates on the other side of the map. If you have to rotate through spawn, you're basically taken out of the round, right? But if you're an attacker and you take mid, obviously you deny the defense these quick rotates, but I do think you run the risk of going a little bit overboard, and I think that's what Trace does here. Like, mid's important, but I wouldn't go any deeper than, like, these lines, because as soon as you cross, like, into these hallways, you kind of expose yourself to a lot. Someone could be back here, someone could be back here. You don't really want to jump up here. It's kind of risky, all right? You usually kind of just want to break the door so that the defense can't fight mid, and they can't, rotate through mid like this. Regardless, you're going to see Trace get a little crazy. The defense are actually fighting A this time, and they're 3-2. But unfortunately, the offense are going mid, and they're 1-4. So, the round's going to start. And with this Viper Wall, cuts off Cat, cuts off mid. The window player can't see. And as soon as you put it up, the attacker is kind of getting mid. I don't want to say like for free, but it's pretty hard if you're the defense to contest something like this, because you have to push through so many of the layers to fight the attackers. Now, the offense are going to swing into top mid. Raise, so there's a nade, right? There's a whole big exchange of utility, gunfire, all that jazz, and the offense apply even more pressure with the smoke, Prowler. So in the defense's mind, right, the attackers could be walked up into like any of these areas, right? Mid is just like completely compromised, and I'm pretty sure the offense didn't even break the door. So this is just a jumbo fat question mark. And if you're the defense, you will never feel safe like rotating through this area because of the possibility that players could be anywhere in here, right? The mid is just a nightmare to clear out once you use it or lose it. But the attackers, they are pounding it into catwalk, I guess that's what we're calling this, or tree, or plant, or garden, I guess. And Jet, pushes into spawn, right? I think this is a little much, I'm not going to lie. I don't think you need to be doing all this with the door closed, too. It's weird because the offense kind of gets separated from their team. I think they get a little too caught up in this mid control, right? We have Owen watching this line, Jet watching this one, or vice versa, whatever. And I'm going to go ahead and play. You kind of want your Omen to be with the pack so that you can, like, use your paranoia to, like, take back sight or, be ready to smoke for your team. But you'll see that Jet and Omen basically clear out all on mid. And the defense do eventually have to rotate through their own spot eventually. And that's when you see Liu King go down with his paranoia active before he's able to place down any smokes. And that's just never a good time for the attackers. Now, what they do have their Phoenix Wall, so they're able to get out that way. Jet goes down trying to get another, but as you can see, like, Whaley's sitting in spawn. These aren't really fights you want to be taking as the attackers. Teo is close up behind, and that forces the attackers to basically push into B without any of their map control. And as you can see, Trace get destroyed. So I don't want to spend too much time in this round, but you're going to notice that a lot of this first half, FPX just don't like fighting for A. But that's going to be a big problem because they're going to get steamrolled. And if you have teammates in ranked who are playing A like this and are also getting dookied on, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're going to have to tell them this sucks. So the offense have taken A main. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. They kind of take their time. This is like a pretty slow default. Viper's holding B, Phoenix holding mid, all hunky-dory. Omen is sitting in main, and I think this is probably the right decision to leave Omen back here. His paranoia is pretty good. It basically covers most of A, while his teammates are going to go like split A through cat or garden or whatever. I don't know these parts of the map are called yet, but you're going to see that because the defense were so lackadaisical and they haven't taken any map control, right? Like Whaley's like wandering around in spawn, right? And the offense are barreling through A or barreling through tree, garden. Teo and Cypher just have absolutely no chance. Like, well, first off, this is like a horrible jump spot, but that's beside the point. Cypher, like, how are you supposed to hold sight when you're Cypher? You have like a little dinky out trip, holding this small choke point, and then you have like a tripwire that like nobody's even remotely close to play off of. That one way is not even a one way, and it just gets absolutely dookied on. Now time is running low, but as you notice, the attackers are coordinatingly. That was pretty cool. Swing, take that guy down. 3 versus 2, 2 versus 2. We're going to play this out. Raise nade to stop the plant. FPX ended up winning, but all I'm saying is that if your plan is to hold A, you have another thing coming. Now you might be thinking, okay, Teets, we won't hold A anymore on defense. But what I didn't tell you is that the same thing goes for the offense. Once you take sight as an attacker, you kind of need extra space. You need to make sure your team has enough breathing room to have a fully functional post plant. And you're going to see that the attackers, they only have pistols this round, but this still demonstrates my idea. This round demonstrates my idea or what I'm talking about really nicely. So the offense uses a Phoenix Wall, Omen Flash, Prowler to basically funnel into A. They don't deal with Courtyard because they don't have that great range of weapons. Teo, smartly enough, wisely enough, I don't really know what you want to say. He gets offsite. The offense start planning, but you're going to notice that a lot of them stay cooped up in this little box, and you're going to see the defense absolutely dookie on them, right? They're contained basically like in this little area. You have Viper in this area. You have an Omen in Courtyard, which is kind of nice. But you're going to see that FBX completely missed their raise nade, and then they get sat down. Then there's the C's. So you can see the offense doing like a good job of like fighting for A. But as you can see, like, this just isn't enough map control. And you kind of need to like fight. You need to like fight the defense. You can't like play off site and spam the spike. You need to like have a coordinated plan to deal with the defense's retake when it comes time for that to happen. Now I forgot to mention this, but one other thing that I might change about FPX's comp is that I prefer, on paper at least, the Vice over the Cypher, and that's because, like I said, on B, this is like your anchor site. This is where you anchor down, buy time for rotates, that type of thing. So this is normally where I think the Sentinels are going to be played in future Tier 1 matches. But Vice is, I think, the only one of the few Sentinels that could actually hold A. Because if you look at the minimap, this Cypher Tripwire goes across A like this, and like while that's fine and dandy and all, Vice's wall could do the same thing. She can do something like this as well, and it forces the attackers to commit so deep into courtyard that, I mean, it kind of puts them in like a jumbo crossfire if they're trying to break this wall, right? So, or bait it out, I should say. And I think she's like one of the only people that could actually like hold A with her thorns that clog up most of these tight chokes. The thorns, you know, clog up a lot of courtyard if you decide to put your wall closer. And I just like Vice more, right? But that's beside the point. The attackers are back in, or no, both teams are back in full buys. And I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit in this round. The offense started the round by defaulting towards A. Basically kind of defaulting on the map, walking around a mid, walking around an A. But slight spoiler alert. First off, this mid reclear just isn't great. I don't really know what that nade does, but that's beside the point. The offense decided to go B. They decided to go B. And while Trace are, I guess, performing their execute, I want you guys to think to yourself, doesn't this look a lot like a Sunset backside hold, or like a Lotus backside hold, or like a Corrode backside hold, right? Doesn't this feel like a site that you should be anchoring down on? Yes, I know you guys are here for crazy door plays. What about the doors? What about the switches? Well, there was a couple cool door interactions. I'm not sure if I'm going to show it in this video, but FPX and Attack decided to use their tail missiles to close the door. So that was interesting. Don't know if that's how you want to use your like only initiative utility, but Trace Esports have a cool door play in store this round. So they're geared up to fight mid as 5 basically. While the defense are fighting for A main, which I think is the appropriate reaction on this map, or appropriate thing to do. But you're going to see, we're going to have a smoke cat, we have a smoke top mid, so this allows the attackers to basically get leak out, and as soon as they get into top mid, you're going to see, well, this door is already closed, right? And I think we see a Prowler, we see a Boombot. Look at where Omen decides to ult. Look at where he decides to ult. So I'm going to go ahead and rewind this a little bit, and you're going to notice something that I didn't notice right away at first. But I'm pretty sure that Raze is the one who breaks this door. Look at Raze's POV. I don't know why Raze would do this. This door just makes it harder for your team to rotate in and help you. And because the defense decided to break this door, this tells the offense that there's nobody in this area. Like this part of the map is completely butt naked. Because if there were a defender in here, why would you close the door on your teammate? That makes absolutely zero sense. So that's where we get our Omen ult from. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. We see a Prowler, we see a Boombot in return, but Omen decided to just take this free space. I mean, why not? He's protected by the door, he's protected in this cubby. He decides to smoke spawn. And I just thought it was really cool, right? If the enemy team are closing the door in on themselves, why would you? I mean, why not take advantage of that, right? So as you can see, the defense are the offense are trying to force their way into B site, so nothing really happens extraordinary because of the Omen ult. But I do think that Liu King probably could have gotten a sick lurk off had he committed to this. I think this type of mid pressure is a lot different from what we saw before. Because Liu King had such like a great timing, he actually could have done something by like pushing this far wouldn't have been as risky as like we've seen before. But as you can see, he still finds a backstab. He rides the throw bomb into heaven, finds a guy on drop, and that just completely rattles the attack, or rattles the defense. Like, how did somebody get in our back line, right? Teo was sitting here watching it. How did you let me get backstabbed, right? So just a great play from Liu King overall. Puts Teo in a rough 1 versus 2 in like a pretty sick, jumbo crossfire from drop in main, and this dude just absolutely has zero chance. But I'll play the rundown for you, and you guys can watch it for yourselves. Tap the spike, and there's no time. So how I said the defense kind of need mid control if they want to quickly rotate in between sites. Well, you're going to see them do that this round. So the defense are set up in a 2-3 where Cypher's going to try and hold on to A, which is a little tough. And the defense are going to eventually group up and fight mid after, clearing B mid with this Boombot. And they want to fight for something this round. And by playing a little too passive, they want to fight something that isn't A main for once. And the attackers, in the meantime, have decided to group into A main, and they're 1-1-3. Now, the defense, you're going to see that they notice that the offensive smoke is stopped mid, and they want to take a timing on it before it blooms, but it's too late. Asher swings out. Again, don't know if our Asher should be going first. Maybe our Duelist should be taking first contact, but it doesn't matter because the defense have successfully taken mid control. And because Viper sees these guys walking down mid, Viper's like, oh my goodness, they pushed mid. We should push into A. But I don't think Trace realized just how fast Waylay and Raze can get to A. So, smokes go down, Phoenix Wall, Prowler's breaking all the trips for us. But these guys are already here. They're spamming us in our butts, right? Cypher is dying on site because you can't hold A, but it doesn't matter. 3 versus 2, FPX have the advantage. Somehow this is turned into a 1 versus 1. But because Waylay and Raze are here so damn fast, this made, this was a really good round for FPX. So, I'm just going to play this out. You guys can watch the 1v1. This really can go either way. But I just wanted to show off how fast the rotates are from mid to A if you wanted to go flood into A with your team, right? So, yeah. Mid's pretty good. And now this round, we have another example of the offense not taking enough map control on their post plan. Like I said, A, if you're defending A, you need to fight up. And if you cannot anchor site, and if you're playing a post plan on A, you probably should be fighting and getting aggressive. Which also begs the question, should we be closing this door? I don't know, because if we need extra map control, maybe we shouldn't be closing it so bad. Maybe we shouldn't be closing it all the time. Taking all of this map control could be kind of crazy. I'm just saying, just something to think about. So the offense have pistols, and their plan is to go slime A, and our poor lonely Cypher has been tasked yet again with trying to hold the most claustrophobic site in all of Valorant. So the offense, send out the Prowler, toxic screen. They're just running through. The defense try to stall with the tail missile, and you'll see that A is sitting back here trying to hold site. He gets Phoenix flashed, again, and just look at this poor guy. This poor guy. Right, the offense do a good job of taking a lot of map control. They decide to push into elbow. But you're going to see Teo, he almost rips his ult there, and that would have been a bad time. This team just wasn't ready to go. But if you look at the offense, they've decided to rip their Viper's Pit. They've decided to rip their Viper's Pit to clog up basically any avenue that the defense could retake through. This means that the defense basically have to funnel in through this narrow choke or take a lot of decay damage. But chat, this isn't a lot of space for 4 players to be playing in.
这把枪还有魁父，这一波回防虽然说方 plus 有枪械优势，但是枪位上真不见得有多好啊。
他的飞剑一丢，要去混这个位置，扣啊直接往魁父里钻，猛侠1传3。
And skipped a few rounds because they were kind of sloppy. Didn't really show a whole lot of Summit fundamentals. It was a lot of 1v1s, dry swinging through smokes and making hero plays. China slop, I like to call it. But regardless, I think this round is a good example of what an A retake is not supposed to look like. So the offense are starting in a 3-2, and you're going to see that the defense are going to be playing A little weird this round. They have like a cam set up, a trip, and a trip. This looks like Cypher would be playing like maybe here or here to be able to spam off of them. But it's not like he can like pop his cages and like rat around in this area and wait, for someone to walk into these so we can spam them or anything. He actually decides to get off site completely. So I guess the defense's plan is to play full retake, which makes a little bit more sense when you look at the ults that they have. Astra ult plus Waylay ult, you can segment A in a couple different ways to like block off a lot of potential map control that the offense are playing in, right? So the defense decide to trap B main. They have a Waylay ult here, and I'm pretty sure Raze is just going to fly at them or nade them, or we're going to see tail missiles in this area. But unfortunately for the defense, the offense are headed A. Not a bad trap setup, don't get me wrong. Not in this overall, FPX's game plan, not so bad. But their execution is a little poor. So Teo drone goes in. It's eventually going to see people all the way back here, but the defense aren't confident enough to, obviously catch a jet from this far back. And the offense, in the meantime, have decided to walk all the way up A, break both trips, and also we pop our cam kind of early. If we're planning on playing retake, I think it would make more sense to pop this when our team is ready to retake so we can see who's playing where. Regardless, the offense have taken even more map control this time and pushed deep into elbow to make sure they don't get boxed up on site like they did previously. But the defense, their plan is to all funnel in through elbow, which I think is a little troll. I mean, you see Astra back off for a second, and I thought for like a minute she was going to like maybe come through this way, but she has a judge, so, you know, I don't think if a judge peeks this angle, I think they're just going to get incinerated. But the offense, I'm sorry, the defense decide to Waylay ult and Astro ult in such a way that the offense literally have to focus just on this one narrow choke and just farm the defense. Like Waylay got a little lucky by double dashing past the offense. I didn't see her getting these 2 kills. But beside that, like if that didn't happen, this would have looked a lot worse than it actually was. Like look at the minimap and you'll see. The Waylay ult comes in, attacks 2, right? That's nice and that's wonderful. But the offense literally just sit there and stare at that choke point. The Nightfall goes in, tags 2, Jet's, you know, playing aim labs, literally aim labs. She doesn't have to aim anywhere else. She's basically playing, what is it, grid shot? I don't know, I'm old. But what I do know is that Retake sucked. Oh, and I guess I forgot to mention like what they should have done differently. Send the players through this way and just Astro ult like this. Or even like this. Maybe not like this. I think like this. Astro ult like this completely isolates anybody playing in these areas. They have to swing your wall to help their teammates. You pinch the site. So I'm taking us to the second half, and we are going to see another case of not fighting for A, not working out so well for the defense. So the offense, in the meantime, are set up in a 3-2. We're going to default into B main. Then they're going to head back this way into the main focus of this round. So round's going to start. Exchange of smokes. We see a boombot. Boombot goes through, basically clears everything out. The offense feel like they've done a good job. A good enough job, I should say, at least, defaulting into B. And now I'm going to go ahead and skip forward a little bit because, as you see, the defense are going to rotate over towards B. Now, Cypher couldn't hold A, so maybe Viper can, right? She's a defensive Sentinel that can do all that, right? And now the offense, before they head into A, they decide to pressure top mid a little bit. And now you're going to see the attackers are contacting up cat, and you're going to see the defense. You know, the offensive cut noise. They're wondering where the offense are, where they could be. Right, they could be top mid, they could be main. So they decide to spread back out, have a more even spread stack. Leave the judge in B main because the judge could probably get one on its own, or maybe like hold out on its own. I don't know. The defense's plan isn't very good here because just everybody's just so far pushed back, and I don't think this is how you should play the map. Put your anchor on B. Fight A main, goddammit. But we're up cat. We land a 140 body shot, outlaw shot onto Viper, and just watch the defense. How are we supposed to defend against this? All right, DLB just tries to run out, dies. Phoenix tries to flood in to help the Viper, but dies, and Phoenix kills his own Viper. Right, he tries to molly the A main choke for Viper so she can isolate main from catch. I think she tries to like push into main, and it is just a disaster class. And it's like, you cannot fight a man. You cannot play in this part of the map. You can't. It is too claustrophobic. There's not enough cover to play around. You're going to get easily flushed out by most of the abilities in this game, and it is impossible, chat. I am telling you now, do not do it. But luckily for the defense, somebody whiffed in cat, so it is now a 3 versus 3. Let's see what a retake looks like. Paranoid for courtyard. That's nice with a jet dash. This is like the start of a pretty good retake. Teo's down to 1 HP, 2 versus 2. One more bullet or one more, like, look at Teo the wrong way and he'll fall over. Koganek gets a kill, 1 versus 1, fades 1 HP, and the offense win. Like I said, you cannot defend A, and had that person not whiffed in cat, I don't think this round would have been as close as it was. Also, I forgot to mention, on this A-hold, look at how Teo's missiles literally just cover this and all of this. Where are you meant to play? They saw Viper in this position. Like, where is Viper supposed to play? Her teammates can't flood out. Missiles are clogging up so much of this lane. I forgot to show you the tail missiles because they're hard to spot on the minimap. But like, dude, I don't know, 2 mini brimolts covering half of your site that you're trying to play on. Friday main. All right, so this round we have the defense playing into 3-2. We're fighting up on A like we should, except this wall makes it a little weird to do so because you can't really fight this line, and then you can't fight this line, and then if you try to push here, your own Viper wall kind of blocks you off. It's a little strange. But the offense are going B, and I think maybe some teams can kind of like copy this strat. They have Astro Wall. They're going B, and they're going to send two up mid late to backstab the defense. And now remember when I said that if the defense loses mid control or they aren't careful of any lurks, which which I think could be a problem of Trace's comp. A problem in Trace's comp is that they don't have a Sentinel. So keeping track of 1, 2, 3, 4 potential lanes can be kind of an issue, and you're going to see it kind of bite them in the butt this round. So keep that in mind. So the round's going to start. We're going to see a trade of smokes. We see a smoke. We see a pulled back star. And the offense and the defense both want B main, as you can see, obviously. And we see another star get placed down, you know, getting ready to be pulled back. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. The offense decided to tail drone through the pullback smoke, right? The pullback smoke protects the drone. Omen sees the Astral come in. And if you look at the minimap, you'll see that there is like a little sliver that Whaley can plant on. This little triangle. Right, and we've seen teams do this before. Ascent is the first one that comes to mind. Maybe even a little bit of Pearl. Pearl's a little bit harder, but that's another story. Pearl B side or A side. A side, yeah. Regardless, Whaley dashes in, and you're going to see the defense aren't going to want to let her do this for free. And the Paranoia basically clogs up this entire lane. Whaley gets lucky, or I guess she's close enough to Omen to see him and kills him. And it's just a cluster. It is a fuster cluck. And if you if you look at the kill feed, these are some of the rounds that I've been skipping this entire time. There's a lot of slop in here, but I still think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from watching this game. Yeah, Waylay's 1 HP, and the Raze ult blows up her own Waylay, so that's not good. So the offense give the defense back the trade, and then Fade finds a crazy timing in this Viper Orb, gets one, gets another. But if you look at the minimap, while all this Looney Tunes bullshit was going on, we have Cypher and Astra lurking up mid, and this is going to create a jumbo problem, because I'm not sure if the door's closed. We don't have a real play system for pro games. But if the door is not closed, if it's open, the defense potentially have to worry about 1, 2, 3, 4 different lanes that the defense can walk through and kind of like destroy them if they go onto site, right? So you're going to see Cypher throws his cage. He's kind of creating a commotion for Astra. Look at her pathing. She walks all the way around. Right, look, we pop our Phoenix ulti, right? We're trying to stay in this game, trying to run down the Cypher. Cypher can't get run down. Astra finds a crazy backstab onto Phoenix and Spawn. Like I said, if you lose mid, you need to keep that in mind, that you can get backstabbed at any time. There's so many different lanes. And now, if you want to see, I don't know, a cool video, check that out here, somewhere here. Check that out here. And if you want to join my watch parties, I'm probably live while you're seeing this video. Check the links in the description.